You're very welcome back to Unstable TV. So you guys have sent us over a reaction that's very, very interesting. And what that is, Danielle's going to tell you all right about now.
So you guys sent us over, why did the USA tell Britain to stay out of Asia? Is it because it's just the USA's oil?
Is it oil? Is it to do with population? Or it could be money.
It's always money. Money makes the world go around, isn't it?
So of course, watch the end, guys, and we'll have a chat about it after we check this out. And without further ado, Danielle,
let's get into this right now.
For years, Britain's been trying to prove it still matters on the world stage.
It does.
But Donald Trump's
Cups of
Pentagon
tea,
just
innit?
drew a clear line. When it comes to power projection, London should prioritize Europe, not Asia. An exclusive report from the Financial Times reveals that Elbridge Colby, the US Undersecretary for Defense and the third most senior official in the Pentagon, has just told British officials that the UK should scale back its military role in the Indo-Pacific and concentrate instead on the Euro-Atlantic area.
it's London.
Colby raised concerns about the Royal Navy's current 8-month carrier strike group deployment, led by HMS Prince of Wales, to the region. In his view, Britain should focus on securing its own neighborhood, not patrolling the Pacific.
That's true.
This marks a major departure from Biden-era policy. The Biden administration encouraged European allies to take a more active role in Asia. It promoted the idea of joint deterrence against China and closer coordination between European and Indo-Pacific partners. The Trump administration's policy reversal reflects a fundamental change in how US strategy is being defined. Elbridge Colby has argued for several years that the US should prioritize preventing Chinese dominance in Asia above all else. He believes that American military power must be concentrated in the Indo-Pacific. Anything that dilutes that focus is seen as a risk. Washington now expects European allies to take on far more responsibility for their own defense. That includes handling the Russian threat without US support.
That's only fair.
Concerns over Europe's military capabilities aren't new. Its chaotic intervention in Libya in 2011 revealed just how unprepared the continent was to direct hard power without US leadership and support. Yet, in the current geopolitical environment, it's widely recognized this has to change. For one, Colby believes the US does not have the capacity to fight two major wars at the same time.
That's fair.
During his Senate confirmation, he called the US Armed Forces a one-war military,
Ouch.
arguing that every unit, dollar, and decision must be directed toward deterring China, not split across secondary fronts. As a result, sending British carriers to the Pacific is not an effective use of limited Allied resources.
Oof.
His position is that these deployments do little to alter the balance of power in Asia and weaken Europe's readiness. This kind of strategic triage could define US alliance policy going forward. For the UK, the timing is awkward. Its entire post-Brexit foreign policy has leaned heavily on expanding its global presence, especially in the Indo-Pacific.
America sound worried about the UK.
2021 carrier strike group mission to the AUKUS submarine deal, London has tried to prove it remains a serious power beyond Europe. The UK has invested in regional facilities, committed to regular deployments, and strengthened ties with partners like Japan and Australia. In 2023, it even discussed coordinated naval activity with France to maintain a European presence in the Pacific. But this whole vision has always relied on a green light from Washington. And under Trump, that light may be turning red. If the US wants Britain focused on Europe, then London's Indo-Pacific ambitions suddenly look out of step. UK parliamentary reports have already flagged that Britain's military presence in Asia is modest and stretched thin. Now, with the US pivoting away from global coalition building, the pressure to rethink that posture is mounting. This isn't just about where Britain sends its ships. It's about how America sees the world and what it expects from its allies. Biden's strategy treated the Atlantic and Pacific as two sides of the same geopolitical struggle.
So Biden
The
ruled it.
idea was unity. one network of democracies pushing back against China and its authoritarian partners. Trump's team is taking a very different approach. Let Europe handle Europe, while the US focuses on China. Critics say this will weaken deterrence and fracture unity, especially as China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea work together across the globe. But Colby's thinking is straightforward. Concentrate force where it counts, or risk losing over the long term.
So it's just
If this
strategies.
becomes policy, and it already is starting to, countries like Britain will have to move fast. The era of global ambitions may be closing, not because London wants to retreat, but because Washington has redrawn the map.
It gets very tricky then, because if the UK go against what the US is advising, they lose a huge power. But if they do what they're advising, they also lose. What do the UK gain in this?
Yeah, it seems like no matter what direction the UK moves in, they're going to lose.
Unless we're picking this up wrong, is it important for the UK to move out of Asia?
Yeah, I'm surprised the UK being in Asia hasn't made tensions higher with China for the US.
You think that the US would want more allies on their side and helping them out at the minute? But I don't know. He obviously has a good reason for changing the strategy. A lot of people, I don't think, are going to agree with this, though. I think it's a bit odd, to be honest. I don't really understand how that's going to really benefit anybody, unless America just wants America and China to battle it out together, and that's it. But that's not going to happen, because China has all its allies. The US has all its allies.
America's like, no, we're just going to come at you with a solo approach, but China's never going to be like, yeah, I'm leaving all my allies behind.
Yeah, it's a bit... That's what we're picking up from anyway. It just seems a bit strange. Now, the UK focusing on Europe, that's fine as well. That's no problem. That's kind of what it should be, but it just, I don't know, it just seems a bit of an odd tactic in my opinion.
I think Trump's kind of more hell-bent on just undoing anything Biden did.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what it is or at any cost. He just wants to undo everything military-wise. Maybe he just views all his tactics as ridiculous.
Or maybe we're wrong. What do all you American guys think of this? Do you think it's important for the UK to leave Asia, or it's just strange and doesn't make too much sense?
Yeah, let us know in the comments down below. Very big shout out to the original content creator. Do make sure you check them out, give them a like, subscribe and share, and all that good YouTube stuff. And a very big shout out to you guys for sending this one over. It is a good conversation to be having at this time, because the tactics seem to be all over the place, but I like the whole Europe should worry about Europe, because it should. It shouldn't be meddling in any other affairs.
If this goes ahead, is that going to strain the relationship between the UK and the US? And again, what if the UK just don't listen? What's going to happen then? Obviously they are going to listen because it's America, but...
America's number one superpower, so...
Yeah. UK is not too far behind either.
Or as maybe the UK's oil resource is not as good anymore, so America doesn't want them.
Exactly. No, but I just think it just sounds a bit strange. I don't think there was that much of a reason behind it, just to focus on Europe and we'll focus on China. Surely there has to be something else. If there's any more information you guys know about this, please drop it down below. Any links to articles, any other videos explaining this, any news sources, let us know, because it just seems a bit... I feel like there's definitely a huge chunk of information we're missing here, because it just seems strange.
I think that China is delighted to hear this. They're like, America's basically getting rid of its allies itself, so they have more power.
Yeah, it's a bit odd, isn't it?
But have these military troops from England and the rest of Europe actually pulled out of Asia yet?
Not yet. But will they? Probably not. Or they probably will.
Yeah. Like if America's saying we don't want to help in your problems even against Russia anymore, I think this is just going to bring everything to a grinding halt. I think it's another way to crash the economy through the military, like, because a lot of America's money goes into the military.
Could be, actually. Could be right.
But don't just leave it up to us. Let us know what you guys think in the conversation. You don't have to be just from America. You can be from anywhere in the world. Let us hear your 2 cents down there. And that has been our 2 cents up here. And we will chop ourselves